Man, I can't even believe that I am doing this, but this is gonna be a special video for a personal hero of mine, and that's none other than Kobe Bryant. So let's just get right into it.
This is God at his best. Create what you can't see. Was an egg in the nest. Took off as an eagle with a dream. Mind on Yahweh, anything else don't digest right. Sneaker head, the kicks got kicks. You don't want no smoke if you're laying out Christ. Icon, that's her in a nutshell. Focused on Christ and it goes well. That's why they still pulling on a coattail. People don't stay long like a hotel. Play the right card like you know well. This her wave at the boat sale. Christ paid her tab, ain't no sale.
What's up, y'all? Just kind of wanted to just do a real special video, like I stated before, with regards to some very special Kobe's that I happen to own. And I won't really give you a lot of backdrop on all of them, but I will give you a backdrop on just a couple. But one of my personal favorites, and these actually just happen to be my beaters, but they're my favorites. It's the only pair of purple shoes that I own, and this is the Purple Pit Vipers. These are the Kobe 8s. Super comfortable. I can say for sure for me that these are probably one of my favorite shoes to play basketball in. They just kind of give me that Mamba mentality. I'm not even gonna lie to you. These are super comfy and very lightweight. I don't know if you can tell, but like I'm kind of holding them with like 2 fingers, but these are definitely a shoe that I believe is worth the investment. The 8s are arguably my favorite Kobe's to date, and I'm not normally a fan of purple, but when it came to these, I had to get them. I really think it's the snake skin, the Viper skin, and no, it's not textured per se, so it's not at all, but yeah, and it matches my lipstick. The second pair that I really wanted to share with you all, again, these are just a few of my personal favorites, because I don't know if anybody knows this, but Kobe was my favorite basketball player ever. Like, ever. Kobe's the reason I picked up a basketball in the first place, but we'll get into that. These are the Prelude 7s. This is one of the highlights of Kobe's resume. This shoe came out when he was in pursuit of gold medal. And so you can see the number that he wore when he was playing for Team USA. And so cool thing is that there's stars and stripes on the inside of the shoe. One has stars, one has stripes, and man, the Preludes are definitely super dope. And so these are they. Get a good look at the shoe. Another one of my favorites. These are the Prelude 3s. The ironic thing about, and I actually really like these, and I played basketball in these when I first got them. You can tell that I wear my kicks. In 2008, the Lakers went to the championship. They played the Celtics, and this happens to be one of Kobe's low points in his career. He actually lost the championship to the Celtics, and that actually they put that story in this shoe. If you look closely, you'll see like this colorway of just disarray and frustration, and it just seems like it's all over the place. And that's actually the feel that Nike was going for and that Kobe was going for when this shoe came out. So all of these colors and the disarray and the frustration and everything that's in the colorway of this shoe is actually said to represent exactly how Kobe felt, or to replicate the feelings in a shoe form of how Kobe felt when he lost the 2008 championship finals to the Boston Celtics. I thought that this was ingenious. It's crazy because you never know. A lot of people just think, like I said before, that people just kind of put a shoe together because it looks good, and it's like, okay, yeah, it looks good, but it also tells a story. And that's the reason that I happen to personally love this particular sneaker as well. This is also a really great shoe to play in. It has Kobe's logo on the front there. I really appreciate the Nike check and the colorway, like I said, that I've alluded to earlier. It's a great shoe that has a great history and a great story behind it. So those are just 3 of my favorite Kobe's that I wanted to share. I wanted to give you all just a couple of fun facts. One, as it pertains to Kobe and his nickname, I kind of want to dig into that. This isn't going to be one of those professional videos. I'm just letting you know now. I really wanted this to be real intimate because of how much Kobe meant to me personally. So Kobe actually gave himself, that's how cold he was. Kobe actually gave himself the name Black Mamba, and he coined it, or he got it from the movie Kill Bill by Quentin Tarantino in 2003. And the reason that he gave himself that name is because he wanted to create an alter ego because his name had kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths. And so he really wanted to kind of separate his personal from his professional life. And so he decided that he would create coin the phrase Black Mamba as a means to kind of describe the personality of the kind of player that he was on the court, because he felt as though when he was on the court, and I mean, numbers don't lie, that when he got the ball and when he set out to accomplish something in terms of a championship or a game, he had that winning type of mentality. It's been said by a number of NBA players and his constituents and colleagues and coaches as well that his work ethic and his competitive nature was unmatched. And if you were to look at just I'm not crying, but if you were to look at any of his videos or any, type of interviews, they will kind of speak to the kind of work that Kobe Bryant put in. It was crazy, the amount of work that he put in. And quite personally, when I was pursuing basketball at one point, despite what you see, but I like I said, he's the reason that I even picked up a basketball. Like Kobe, listen, the number 8, I was over the top with it because, at the time in 2003, I was a size 8. I wore a size 8 in sneakers. I really wore 7.5, but an 8. I made myself wear an 8. My ring size was 8. It's crazy. Everything, I loved the number 8. It was an even number, and I'm a stickler about that. I like even numbers. Man, so everything about number 8 really meant a lot to me. When I tell you that I'm probably the biggest Kobe fan you will probably ever meet or encounter, or in this case, view, I mean that. Like, Kobe was and still is my hero. When my dad was here, God rest his soul, we would practice a lot. He loved basketball. I loved basketball, and Kobe was one of his favorite basketball players. And I was super competitive, so I hated to lose. Just like Kobe, I was willing to put in the amount of work that I needed to play like him. But I always lacked one thing. And I'm going to come back to that. So stick a pin right there. So I Googled what mamba was. It's a snake in another continent, Africa to be specific. And a mamba is considered to be one of the fastest, most venomous snakes. Fastest, most venomous snakes. And it's said that it only attacks humans when it's threatened or when it's cornered. And so when you think about just the kind of player that Kobe Bryant was, that's exactly what he was. And so what I think is the most amazing is that the most feared snake right up under the cobra is the black mamba. So not just any mamba, but the black mamba. And man, if you've never just seen or heard people use that mamba mentality phrase, man, I'm telling you, Kobe was just amazing. He definitely was the black mamba. Y'all know why I'm here. I really wanted to kind of delve into some word as it pertains to Kobe. Man, it's crazy how it all came together. I really want to come from Acts 28 verses 1 through I want to say 10. And basically what happened is Paul comes into Rome and he is basically grabbing branches and things to create a fire as he's reaching for tree branches. A snake bites him, and when the snake bites him, people automatically assume that he must be a bad guy and that he must be an evil man. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten bitten by this snake. So they kind of just waited around to kind of see if something bad would happen to him because they assumed that only bad people get bit by snakes. After a little bit, they waited and they realized, oh, this man is not a bad guy. And they actually started to view him in an unnatural way. They started to view him as a god, with a little g, by the way. And so they were no longer skeptics or critics, but they then became bandwagoners, I guess, if you will. And not only that, but then the chief of the particular island that Paul was on, his father was sick. And so Paul actually went in, laid hands on the chief's father, and he was healed. And after he was healed, then everybody else who was on that island decided to come to Paul to get cured. What am I saying? Look, I have 3 points for you, and I'll get out of your way. So my 3 points are this: the very thing that may seem like an incident actually could be the very thing that changes people's lives in an instant. If we just talk about the fact that at first glance, Paul getting bit by a snake, and it's a venomous snake, you're gonna assume that this man's gonna die, right? But the fact that he doesn't, and then those same hands, or that same hand that he got bit with, he actually was able to lay hands on somebody else and heal them and change his life and other people's lives on that island. That's an amazing thing. And so what that taught me is that never shortchange what you might have counted out, because God can use it to bring people in. And so that's my first point. My second point is critics can say what they want, but God's plan will prevail. Listen, when we start talking about the black mamba and the mamba mentality, the thing that gave Kobe the mamba mentality is that he was relentless. Whenever he was backed into a corner or the ball was threatened, it's been said by a countless amount of NBA opponents that Kobe was unguardable. Like, the more pressure you put on him, some kind of way that man was able to make a basket. And if you were to look at some of his replays, it's crazy how he did it. Like, impossible shots. The more pressure you put on Kobe, the more he showed up. And not only did he just show up, but the better he performed. And not only did he perform better, but he also made the seemingly impossible very possible. So it turned from a faint, quaint thought to this can be done because we are literally watching a man. His mentality, that black mamba mentality, come out and score a basket and lead his team to 5 championships. Of course, he didn't do it by himself, but a bulk of it was on my boy's shoulders. And so, I just kind of wanted to just share that, man. The best revenge is obedience. Paul could have easily just, laid down and decided, well, I've gotten bitten. I'm just going to sit here and kind of wait for myself to die. But no, like, Paul kept doing what he knew to do, right? And so I think that that's probably something that we all could stand to kind of tap into that Mamba mentality. And then the third and last point that I have is your obedience will make your opposition obsolete. And I kind of already said it in the last point, but it's the truth, man. Being obedient has its perks. And can I just tell you, it's not going to feel good, right? I can only imagine when Paul got bit by a snake. He probably was like, what is this? Like, what is going on? Like, that's strange. But he didn't allow that to stop him from doing what the Lord had called him to do. And I personally believe that he was meant to be on that island so that he could heal people. And of course, God is the one that did it through him. But and not only did he do it through him, but he did it through the very thing that was quote unquote poisoned. And so, listen, man, I think again that's what makes Kobe being Bryant. That's what made him so amazing to me. It's just that mentality and the fact that people could say whatever they wanted to say. A lot of people had things to say about Kobe. People still do. It's crazy how the very thing that kind of made you hate him, which was the fact that he scored all kinds of baskets, is also the very thing that made you love him. When it comes to me, it's the only thing that made me love him. It's the fact that he fell in love with the game of basketball, and it showed through his passion and how much time he put into it, and how much interest he took in it, and so it's crazy to me. I still can't believe that he's gone, y'all. Like I really can't. But I do want to take this time to send my condolences, not just to Kobe's family. Rest their souls. His daughter, whose future was so bright, and but it's the brightest it's ever been now that she's in the hands of the father, but the other families that were affected by this tragic accident. It just makes you consider how fragile life is, how fast it can be gone. It also makes you consider that it doesn't matter the talent that you have. Listen, let us not always just focus on how people will remember us, but let's bring it more closer to home. Let's bring it to the present. How will people view me now? What am I doing right now that will show forth this very thing? Because remember, I said to stick a pin in the very thing that I lacked, and that's confidence. You got to be confident in who God called you to be. And I'm talking to myself, man. Like, timidity doesn't have a place in the kingdom. There's no way you can be a Christian quietly. Not an effective one. And so, I'd liken this to, that Mamba mentality. Just knowing that, that Godfidence really is what I would call it, is what's going to shine through and what's going to draw all men unto him. It's all about spreading the gospel. That's what it's about. That's it.
What did you learn from that whole experience? Just having to go through what you went through.
God is great.
Is it that simple?
God is great. Don't get no simpler than that, bro.
Did you know that? I mean, everybody knows that, but the way you know it now, did you know it before that incident took place?
You can know it all you want, but until you got to pick up that cross that you can't carry, and he picks it up for you and carries you and the cross, then you know.
much like always, what I really need for y'all to do, if you could, is to help me spread this gospel. All right, like I really, really need your help. Click subscribe, like, love, share, all of that. All right. Listen, because it really is about spreading the gospel. Man, my boy is gone, man.